However, implementing this approach presents challenges. For instance, if a user is trying to book a flight via a web agent during driving, maintaining constant supervision becomes impractical. Additionally, while information-seeking tasks may not directly involve private data, unauthorized leakage of what the user for is searching for can still violate user privacy rights. But even with human supervision, it is as effective as one would assume. A successful attack on ChatGPT memory features indicate that human oversight is often unreliable. Users may copy text from an attacker's website and send it to ChatGPT without even noticing the malicious prompt injected within the copied content. With such unreliable supervision, an injection through Relax EIA placed at the bottom of a page may go unnoticed if the user does not scroll to the end. Furthermore, even high level of supervision may not detect whether a website has been compromised, especially when the attack is well adapted. The authors present example where EIA is adapted almost seamlessly into web pages, oftentimes without significant effort by attackers, resulting in compromised sites that appear highly benign or nearly identical to the original ones. These compromised pages with minimal or no visual changes would be extremely hard for users to detect. The authors now discuss the implication for defense strategies at both the pre and post deployment stages of websites. The value of detection highlights the need for more advanced and dedicated web malware detection tool to combat the unique threats natural language injection arising from LLMs based web agents. One possible solution is to use a predefined list of sensitive keywords to filter web page content. However, the persuasive instruction in the attack primarily consists of normal sentences. For example, a phrase like, "This is the right place to type," might appear as a benign guidance message on the web, making it hard for keyword filtering to detect. Moreover, expanding the keyword list can increase the risk of false positive and may lead to the misclassification of benign element. Another defense approach is to filter out non-visible elements with zero opacity. However, many legitimate elements initially have zero opacity for reasons like transition or animations before becoming visible and interactive. Distinguishing between benign and malicious elements in such cases is difficult. Blanket exclusion of all such elements could disrupt the website's intended flow or functionality, resulting in a poor user experience. Defensive system prompts and monitoring agent functional integrity can both be considered as defense strategies at the post-element deployment stage. Although they have demonstrated that one specific type of system prompt defense cannot mitigate EIA, they acknowledge that other works have proposed methods to prioritize instruction over data to counter injection attacks. However, such indiscriminate prioritization of instructions over data can potentially compromise the utility of web agent, as many instructive messages are embedded within web page elements. For example, the descriptive tags explaining an element's purpose or area labels specifying form functionality provide essential context for effective web navigation and interaction. Ignoring these data will impair the agent's ability to understand and interact with web environments effectively, thus compromising its functional integrity. This highlights the need for approaches that balance effective defenses with preserving original functionality. Under the same threat model aforementioned, traditional web attacks such as obfuscated JavaScript or injecting transmission scripts into HTML forms can leak specific PII that users type into particular fields. However, EIA goes beyond this by being able to leak the user's full request, which is a high-level instruction provided to the web agent to guide its interactions with the website for task completion. Since this request is not typed directly on the web page, traditional attacks designed to target user type PII cannot access or leak it. Importantly, the full request contains additional information beyond specific PII, and leaking it could lead to even more serious privacy risk. Furthermore, the authors emphasize the importance of investigating new attack methods targeting the expanded attack surface and discuss how EIA can motivate further work to explore novel adversarial targets beyond the reach of traditional web attacks, with the ultimate goal of building robust web agents. In summary, EIA targets the unique characteristics of web agents, enabling attacks impossible with traditional methods. This work explored potential privacy leakage issues posed by generalist web agent. The authors first developed a realistic threat model and then introduced a novel attack approach dubbed EIA. They apply it to one of the state-of-the-art generalist web agent framework, C-Act. The experiment demonstrates the efficacy of their attack in leaking users' specific PII and pull requests by exploring different adaptation strategies. Specifically, they achieved up to 70% ASR for stealing specific PII and 16% ASR for stealing the full user request. Additionally, they show how these attacks are challenging to detect and mitigate. They further discuss the trade-off between autonomy and security, highlighting the challenges of incorporating different levels of human supervision in web agent applications. Moreover, they show that with extra effort, attackers can seamlessly adapt the attack into web pages, making human supervision unreliable. Finally, they discussed the implications for defense strategies at both the pre and post deployment stages of websites without human supervision, and emphasized the uniqueness and importance of ERA compared to traditional web attacks. Overall, the study underscores the necessity for more comprehensive explorations of the privacy leakage risk posed by generalist web agents. Looking forward, there are several important directions for future research. Advanced detection mechanisms for natural language injections needed to be developed. Traditional tools have failed, so new approaches specifically designed for these threats are needed. Context-aware defense strategy that can distinguish between benign and malicious guidance without compromising web agent functionality. Research on balancing utility and security in web agent, how to protect privacy without reducing functionality, cross-domain generalization of EIA to other environments such as mobile applications or virtual reality. Although the authors developed EIA with a particular focus on injections into the web environment, this approach opens avenues for broader exploration of injections into various environments. There are also several open questions for discussions. How can robust web agents be built that are both autonomous and secure? What level of human supervision is practical for different task types? Can detection methods be developed that don't harm agent functionality? And how can benign guidance be distinguished from malicious instruction? And what are the ethical implications of deploying web agent at scale? And this is my report of the paper survey of prompt injection. Thank you for listening.